Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Stream of Chaos. My name is James, and I am the Game Master for today's session of RuneQuest role-playing in Glorantha. This is the fourth session in A New Hero, which is the live play we are doing to show the versatility of the RuneQuest starter set, unlike the first live play we did, which shows the tailored and structured adventure for the RuneQuest starter set. This explores some of the sandbox capabilities that the starter set provides. So we have a fantastic cast of young and new heroes who are exploring the world of Glorantha and getting up to all kinds of adventures. You can catch the previous chapter of these adventures on the Chaosium YouTube channel, and right now we will be diving into a new one. But first of all, let's introduce our fantastic cast. But briefly, I will say a very big thank you to Sirenscape, which we use to improve our games. Let's dive across to our brilliant cast. Bridget, can we start with you?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Bridget Jeffries. I work with Chaosium as one of the community ambassadors, mostly helping you get your creative content onto DriveThruRPG, where you can monetize it if you choose to. That is with the Miskatonic Repository for Call of Cthulhu, and also the Johnstown Compendium for RuneQuest, which we are playing now, and then also for 7th Sea as well. I am playing Iratia, who started off in my head as a very angry person, but the more the world keeps rubbing at her, the more she's mellowing out. So we're going to see exactly how she does after the trials are over and as we're going into this new phase of not over the seasons, but also her development as well.
Fantastic. And yes, that's your high water rune coming through, I'm sure. You know, mercurial, go with the flow. We also have Dave. Could you introduce yourself as well?
Yeah, g'day, my name is Dave. I also work with Chaosium, and I am the keeper for our Call of Cthulhu stream, which runs each week, and we're currently playing the Two-Headed Serpent, so if you want to see a little pulp action, check that out. And for this stream, I am playing Telos. I am a local hunter and initiate of Yinkin in the village. I am Aratia's half-brother, and I am the moodier, or I guess more stoic? Is that the word I'm looking for? Half of the pair, yeah.
Moodier than the angry character. It's a bold declaration.
Yeah, sullen, maybe. Sulky, I don't know.
Sullen, maybe.
Yeah, sullen, I think
let's
is the word
animate
I'm looking for.
I think that's absolutely a good descriptor. Anyway, one more time, we are playing through the extended content in the RuneQuest starter set, which you can see behind me, and you can get that from chaosium.com or from your friendly local game store. Without further ado, let's jump into our next chapter of adventure. We left off the story last time with the collection of you having just proven yourself champions of Ernalda, or at least worthy of Ernalda's graciousness. You managed to defeat the rival All-Leving clan in a series of trials, and as a prize for your victory, you were granted not only a broken piece of a sacred statue that they had stolen from you, but a second section of that statue, which you took back to your own village, and you were able to replace in its position of pride and pick life back up as things should be. How RuneQuest works is that scenarios tend to take place over seasons. This allows you to do things like recover from the grievous wounds you might have incurred as part of your adventuring, although luckily none of you were seriously hurt proving yourselves. We are going to be starting this chapter in the dark season, which is the season that follows the earth season, the season of harvest. The dark season is kind of like winter, sort of. There's a few other details, and it's a bit more savage, it's a bit more dangerous. There's not much light, at least, you know, there's less than normal, and it's where a lot of creatures, both of darkness, which is an Elementa rune that is not necessarily aligned with humanity, but also creatures of chaos tend to come out and be more around and dangerous and deadly. So it's not the safest of times. People tend to retreat inwards and spend it in their village. But before then, there's going to be a progression sequence. It's been a fair few months, and a great deal has happened across that time. We have worked out our character advancement off screen, so the collection of you have both rolled a couple of skills, and you've also had a few months off where you have been going about your business as normal. Can I get you both to describe what the last couple of months have been like for you on a personal level? What have your characters what have they been up to? Have they changed in any way? What does life look like for them when they're not in the midst of an adventure? Either of you can start.
So as soon as we come back, Telos is going to throw himself back into... This was his sort of I guess in his eyes, him putting the village first and, you know, prioritizing getting everything back and whatever. But it is hard. He's still actually a reasonably selfish person. As soon as he comes back, he's going to throw himself towards his dedication. He's only recently become an initiate of Yinkin, and advancing within the cult is very much his priority. So he will kind of retreat back out to the woods. And the surrounding area will come back into town every now and then, but it very much turns, you know, it's almost like, you know, what progress was made as far as re-ingratiating with the village as he goes back out into the forest to continue hunting and sacrificing to his god.
Absolutely fantastic. That makes complete sense. And it also is a great opportunity to bring up one of the mechanics that occurs during downtime segments, and that's restoring rune points. Typically, your rune points, which are the more valuable resource you have to spend apart from magic points, they power really, really big spells, are expended until you have time to go and worship at a temple and restore them. It's a very involved process. Downtime allows you to flex that a little bit as part of you going off into the forest and hunting and really meditating on the purpose of your god. You will have restored your rune points, but I would ask you to make a worship Yinkin roll. I think is probably pretty suitable. And what I'd like, I'll hand over the narration to you here, but I'd like to hear what you think that Telos feels as he dives back out into the woods, whether he feels rewarded, whether he feels fulfilled, or whether there is kind of a disconnect.
Rewarded by what?
Rewarded for the time he is spending in prayer. Are you when you try to connect with Yinkin, are you feeling that response? Are you feeling a presence? Are you feeling fulfilled in your worship? Or is there something missing? Is there another challenge that you need to face? Are there still mysteries of the cult that you need to follow and that you need to understand properly? Is something blocking you from a deeper connection with the Shadowcat?
I mean, I think it's just time at this point. I've already been rewarded very much by it. The skills granted by my worship were what, you know, brought us through the final challenge of the trials, being able to, you know, cat's eye and all that sort of nonsense. So it's, you know, I've already felt the very tangible rewards of it. I think now it's the deeper set, and I'm aware that it's going to take a lot more to advance and to begin to get a deeper understanding of it.
Right, so you're going into it with a pretty, you know, good sense of patience and feeling pretty rewarded. What did you roll on your worship check?
So mine's pretty low, so I kind of need to inspire it with something. So my passion is devotion Yinkin, so that seems appropriate.
Makes total sense.
So I'll use that first. I'm rolling under 70. Brilliant. And I have failed.
Totally fine.
Right out the gate.
It's a long process, just like you said. You're feeling reward, you're coming into it. And what this essentially means is there's no great new breakthrough. There's no deeper understanding, but that you're not expecting one. You are there and you are part of, you are involved in the process of continuous worship and continuous attachment to Yinkin. You're having a good time out in the forest and you're not really integrated with the village.
So that's just my passion. That's the inspiration.
Oh, that's the passion. Sorry, not the worship.
And what's the penalty for failing that one?
Is that the minus 10? For failing on a passion, you were going to get a minus 10 for a regular fail. That's correct.
Oh, you found it here. Yeah, minus 10. All right. And so now I need to roll under a 15. And nowhere close. So I very much failed.
All right. No worries. So as I mentioned before, you continue your worship, but there is no additional breakthrough that occurs. All right. Yeah. What about you? What do the last couple of months look like for you?
Yeah, I have a couple things for sure that she would want to kind of focus in on. And then one I'm going to throw at you just to see, just like pure spaghetti at the wall, just to see if it sticks. I'm just going to see what you do with it. This is more Bridget poking you just to see what happens.
Sure.
So the two things she definitely wants to see happen is with your description of the dark season, is fortifying her village, her community as much as she can. This is not something that she's particularly equipped with. So when her brother does grace us with his presence, she would probably have a to-do list like, hey, I don't know if we need to set traps or I don't know if we need to be doing this, but could you please do whatever, you know? So she'd be coordinating with him whenever he did wander in to try to help the village. And then two, that dream sequence that she had in that village with what's that baby's name? Quail,
yes.
It's sticking with her. So I don't know. Well, she's the one in charge. That's something weird that she still has a hard time reconciling. She's actually going to start training Quail with basic, very low level combat skills. It's probably about that time for her to start learning how to properly hold a broadsword or how to fire a bow. So she's going to be working on those two things for sure.
Hell yeah.
That's all completely fantastic. Let me first of all ask, tell us, how do you respond to Iracha trying to get you to sort of play sentinel outside the village, set up traps, do the warding, that kind of stuff?
We've been through dark seasons in the past, and I guess we're aware of the threats that they can bring. What were we doing when we re-secured the statue, if not defending the village? From here on out, we can see what comes and we can deal with it as we're ready. Tellus is fairly determined to kind of separate himself for the time being and you know, spend his time alone in the woods until another threat or something presents itself. He's very kind of distant. He'll help out with like direct tasks given, but he's definitely not offering more services beyond that.
I think that makes total sense. Does this raise the ire of Iracha, or
Oh, for sure. Each time, like, really, you're okay. It's fine. That's fine. Did you do what I asked you at least? I mean, yeah, that's going to be. They're probably going to regress right back to where they were prior to this adventure starting.
And I also, like, I'll do the minimum of what's given. I bring in, you know, like hunted things, but it's not what's needed. You know, it's just like extra meat. It's like, well, that's great, but not. Well, we want defenses.
Right. We like defenses, or if you could like stay for dinner. Nope, you're leaving already. Like,
bye-bye.
Yeah. Right.
Fantastic.
Jim, the one thing I want to see if I could get off with you on just pure spaghetti at the wall. What are the chances in this coming of age story that she could start a long distance relationship with Moosin?
Sure, absolutely. That sounds completely fantastic. I love it. All right, yeah.
Right? Yeah, it's like the bully, but like we also saved his life, and then he mellowed out, and they both cook. So they have that baseline there. Like, what are the chances she can get that off secretly?
I think that's absolutely fantastic, and I love it. We'll come back to that in just a second. We'll
so yes, the spaghetti stuck to the wall.
Yeah, no, that's great. But let's. There's a couple of other things I want to tease out first of all.
Yeah.
So one thing you mentioned is that you are coming into the position of kind of being the boss, kind of being the guardian of this place. And you definitely were once the clan, for want of a better word, was involved in war. You know, they went to, they were fighting, there was rivalries, everything got a lot more serious. You acted in the position of what the Orlanthi would have called a champion, because your champion is currently away fighting the Lunas engaged in the ongoing campaign. But once you come home, you also find that you were kind of thrust into that leadership position once again. We had a brief encounter in the first session with Coral Serpent Tongue, the once bard hero, now very retiring, kind of quiet and timid man who really isn't able to lead the village in the way that it needs to be led. So you are forced to take on a lot of those responsibilities. In terms of the defenses, you're not really sure what the full scope of work is, because you were young in the last dark season, or younger, and you haven't really been involved in a lot of the preparations that are made. Everybody who usually is involved in those preparations, once again, is away fighting the Lunas, except for Lurgan, the keeper of the Oak of Vengeance, who you really did not get along with very well. You had a pretty intense encounter with him.
Yeah.
He has knowledge about how to defend the village, and I'm interested to hear whether you would try and put aside grudges and lean on his expertise. How does your relationship with him develop?
We had, if I'm remembering correctly, and sorry, we had that week off. If I'm remembering correctly, she kind of did like a passive, non-indirect apology when they were underground at the Temple of Ronaldo. If that goodwill is still extending, she would want to continue to foster that. She can't have an enemy within her own camp, especially somebody that tends the Tree of Vengeance and is literally like filling in for her whenever she's not there. So she would do what she would have to do to make sure that stayed on even ground.
Absolutely. You did have that fantastic scene below the temple, and Logan is very responsive to that. If you come in and you sort of mend that bridge, he actually starts to follow under your leadership a lot more. And not only him, but a couple of the other people in the village are starting to look towards you to guide them in decisions that are being made. That could have been seen as a slight towards Coral Serpent Tongue, but he doesn't appear to care if he even notices. You also talked about Quail, the young girl who really bore a grudge against the All-Living tribe, and who in a dream you witnessed being murdered or hurt as a result of ongoing conflict with the All-Living tribe. Her hatred runs deep, and it's going to be difficult for you to reach out, particularly since you weren't able to necessarily bridge that gap during the last scenario. But there's a chance. There's always a chance. I think that the most appropriate check for you to make here would probably be a charm check. Win her back over.
Oh, God, guys.
That good, huh?
Oh, it's that good. It's that good. And by the way, Dave, your faces in the background are absolutely fantastic. Okay, we're definitely going to have to augment this.
Augment probably a good idea.
Yeah, let's try under harmony for obvious reasons. So I am trying to hit under a 75. I rolled a 53. Thank goodness.
Nice.
All right, that's plus 20, correct?
Yes, that is for a success. It'll be plus 20.
Okay, so plus 20, her charm, God bless her, is a base of 15, modifier by 10. So I'm looking at 25 plus 20, so 45.
45, that's good.
That's good. Let's see how we do. 32.
Oh, well done.
Ooh, that's a pretty stressful roll. Bridget really likes this kid, so I was really stressed about pissing her off further.
It's going to be a long process, but you start to make the first steps on the road towards reconciliation. And as you mentioned, that seems to be via teaching Quayle how to fight. And possibly in her head, she's thinking, this is the tools that I'm going to use to fight the All-Living. But you're thinking that, with knowledge and with discipline and with this training, she might learn to be a warrior who can hold her weapon as well as use it well.
Right. Let's direct that hatred at least positively in this way into some instruction. And then hopefully as she continues to mature, we can work on the rest. But it's a mini her. Like, just give her a sword and let her hit something. She's angry all the time. Just let her hit things. 100%.
Can't go wrong. Letters passing back between clans, particularly rival clans from different tribes, is a little bit complicated. But the recent interaction you had with the All-Living tribe has not necessarily mellowed relationships between your two clans, but it has mellowed relationships between the Varmandi and the other members of the Milani tribe. So all of the other clans that came to watch the trials, they have a bit more communication with you, and there's some more trade. Logan often ends up shepherding caravans off to trade between those other clans, and there's a little bit more communication. So you can get messages back and forth to Musin. You have previously boosted your charm skill, and I think this, once again, is just going to be a charm skill. You can maintain the bonus because that's how augmenting the skill works. Why don't you make another charm check?
Ooh, buddy. This one I'm okay if it goes anyway. She really wanted to like it. Oh, guys! I missed it by 1.
Oh, no.
Incredibly frustrating. Well, I'll tell you what. I think that for his part, Musin also does the same. So you're going to also get some messages sent back your way, and it'll be a combination of small letters and notes and also just words that are passed back through travel, like, oh, and Musin asked after you sort of thing. I'll roll for him.
Good luck,
He's also going to miss it by not very much, but I kind of think that's cute. The two of you trying back and forth and maybe not making any progress, but there's a door that's opened there where the two
Perfect.
Very nice. The final thing that we want to do before we jump into the dark season is go through a optional between adventures rule. This is something that is usually reserved for the sacred time, which is at the end of the year. So it would be after dark and storm season. But since it relates to the harvest, which was a significant part of the last scenario, I want to jump into that and really see how it all worked out, because potentially what you all did might have had a really positive effect on the harvest. So, in the RuneQuest core book, I jumped to the back, which is the Between Adventures rules, and we are going to calculate to see what happens for the harvest. We won't have any omens at this stage because we have not done a previous sacred time, so we're going to leave that behind.
What is an omen?
That's an omen is something. So what will happen is that you're going to make a D100 roll, and that's basically going to determine roughly how well the harvest went. And this should guide the kind of meta direction of the story. Is the Varmandi clan in a time of plenty, or are they starving? Omens tend to happen at sacred times. There's a rule for generating a random one for the previous year, but I think it's more exciting if we see the first one that happens ourselves.
Huh.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to get one of the two of you, and you can decide who, to make a D100 roll. And considering that you brought back a piece of the statue, you can add plus 10 to the roll. And then since you brought back an additional piece, you can add another plus 10. So this is going to be a D100 roll plus 20. And depending on the results, you are going to get an indication of how the harvest went. This isn't against a skill. This is just a flat D100 roll.
You want to go for it, Dave? You got us
Sure.
a second piece.
Let's drive this into the ground. Let's ruin the clan with one roll. For plus 20.
Plus 20.
61. I rolled a 41.
61, that is good. In this circumstance, you want a higher number. So the best you can possibly get
Well, that makes
is
sense.
90.
Actually, we're adding value to it, so yeah.
Yeah, you want 95 to 100. So you got a 61 with the plus 20?
I rolled a 41, yeah.
All right, 61 is literally the number that breaks you into the excellent harvest
Oh, hey,
rank.
excellent sounds good.
Good into excellent, which is the second highest. The only other one is if you got a 95, which would have been incredible. But an excellent harvest is still great. So Taylock Green Thumb, who takes care of the harvest, he is ranting about how you've been blessed by Ernalda and by Bantar the Plowman, and he's ecstatic as he brings a proper bounty of food. So as far as things are going locally for the Varmandi tribe, things are pretty good. And
it's the second piece that did it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have done it. So good thing we grabbed that.
No, exactly. You would have just been at a kind of flat, good, okay harvest. This, clearly what you have done has changed things. So we'll leap into the proper adventure now. Move forward into the dark season. This is one of the times when you have come back into town, Telos, for one reason or another, to deliver food or to, have some kind of conversation, make some preparations. And you are resting at this point, either if you like to stay outside, probably in a tent at the outskirts of town, or if you are willing to strain your relationship with Iracha enough, you could be resting in the basement of her tavern as per normal. The other members of the clan are up to their usual business. Several caravans are out in the middle of, trade runs to other clans, and life is continuing as normal. It's relatively nice. When in the dead of the night, both of you wake up in a cold sweat. Something is terribly, terribly wrong, and you can't articulate exactly what it is, but both of you feel immediately and deeply sick. Can you both give me a snapshot of where you wake and what your immediate actions would be upon snapping awake and feeling this sense of dread overwhelm you?
I think Iracha would be in her bed, in her bedroom above the tavern. If something like that shook her out of her a dead sleep, she's probably like sitting up in the bed, cold, soaking wet. The pillow is wet. The sheets are wet. And she's probably going to take something over with her. So if there's a nightstand or something, that where she keeps her water or her bra, sort of like all of that's just going to clump over onto the floor. And she's probably going to call out a name just out of sheer fear. I'm going high for Quail and low for Telos. 41, she screams out Telos' name. It's just instinctual. She just screams it out as she's sitting up in bed.
All right. You sit up in bed. You look around. You yell out a name. It's freezing cold, and the first thing that you notice is that the windows that you have at the side of your bedroom that look over the whole of the town, even shuttered, there are small strands of fog that are drifting through. Everything is eerie, and every hair on your body is standing up. You are deeply convinced that you are in danger. Tell us, let's jump across to you. What would your immediate reaction be? And you might possibly hear the cry from upstairs.
So I'd be based in the basement for the time, and given that we're going into the quite cold season, I'll have basically a rat's nest in the corner of sort of furs and drawn up straw and things that I've squirreled myself down inside. And I was probably planning on being here for a little while. If it's coming into a cold season, I was probably planning on staying for a week or so, or waiting this out, or maybe even just staying in town for the whole season. I don't know how bad it normally gets. And I think when I wake, I'm surrounded by furs and bit like you're dripping with sweat underneath all of it, and despite the cold, I sort of blink and begin to pull my way out of it. Eyes wide and red in the fog, I guess, that's rolling in through one of like those low shuttered windows that leads down into the basement.
Fantastic. You might hear a distant call, and before long, the two of you can rush and meet on the ground floor, glancing around. It is clear that both of you have been awakened. Something is deeply unsettling. I'm going to ask the two of you to make a listen check.
Okay.
Remember to tick all the skills that you succeed in for this chapter, and we will be advancing them at the end of this one.
I haven't succeeded at anything. And I continue that trend. I failed.
Tell us.
I also failed.
All right.
What?
Both of you have no idea what it is that is causing this problem, this sense, but it is absolutely ingrained within you both that there is a danger that is facing not just you, but the entire village. Now that you're on the ground floor as well, and you have a better perspective through the many windows, you can see that the fog that has rolled in is very thick and borderline unnatural. You would immediately assume that there is some kind of magic at work, something bad that is going on. You don't know what the state of everybody else is. The two of you are probably, you don't sleep in armor or anything like that, so you're a little underprepared, but I'm interested in what the two of you do next. In the backs of your minds, there is always the worst case scenario. This means the village is under attack.
I'll creep out through one of the windows and begin to pad barefoot and dressed in very basic, like, sleeping garb through the streets, trying to identify either a source or a section where it's thicker. And I will say, I do carry that canvas wrapped bow pretty much everywhere. So even in limited, I will have grabbed that, and I have a hand axe or something.
Oh, absolutely.
Just on the erring on the side of caution.
No, 100%.
And I'll begin to slink between buildings and see if I can find the source of this.
Totally makes sense. And to be clear, you could say I turn around and put on all my armor and get ready. That's a valid choice to make. So don't feel like I'm banning you from your equipment.
I like barefoot.
You dart out barefoot and you start to go around. I'll get you to make a move quietly check, and I also would like you to make a scan check. Those two rolls while we move across to Iracha to hear what she is doing.
Yeah, Iracha still has that nightgown that she slept in that's strapped to her body because it's soaking wet. She will pull off, if we're walking into the cold season, she probably has some type of wooden cloak or coat that's near the door that she can put on. And she's going to head out as well. She's not stealthy. She's not a hunter. The one thing she is going to make sure is that no one else is coming outside. So if she saw her brother break to the left, she will head to the right, which is probably not the smartest combat move. But what she's thinking is well, if he's covering that way, I'll go this way. That's more eyes on the town. And then also, she is curious to see, was that just the two of them that were awoken, or did everyone get that start?
Splitting up, never a bad idea.
Always a good start.
Yeah, especially in a Chaosium game. Come on.
Why don't you make a scan check as well, and let's dart back across to tell us, how did you go on your two rolls?
So first, I'm gonna invoke my darkness rune. I think seems most appropriate for move quietly specifically. So I'm rolling under 40, and I have succeeded.
Okay.
So I believe that's plus 20. Is that right?
Yeah, that's plus 20 on from your darkness rune.
Bloody have that. And then I'm gonna roll move quietly, which I have. Oh no, I'm getting weird numbers now because I increased it. 25, 49,
25.
69.
Adding.
I'm just adding. I don't have the flat. I'm adding my modifier and the flat.
Sure.
I got it. That is a success.
That is a success. Okay, fantastic.
I'm gonna move quietly, and on the scan. Oh hey, that might be an extreme.
Ooh,
45.
very good.
No, it's gonna be just short.
Oh,
just short. It's gonna be a success.
So, just a regular success, not a special. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. All right, so you begin to pad silently through the streets, glancing this way and that, and your sharp eyes will begin to pick out some strange silhouettes in the fog. But first, let's jump across to Iracha. We'll get your scan check as well. As you emerge, this fog is definitely thick. It is cloying, and something is clearly, wrong. As you move through, your breath is giving out these great puffs of smoke. It's so cold here, and you can feel it biting into you. As you glance around at the rest of the houses to see if anybody is emerging, you will notice like the beginning of lights start to flicker on in a few houses, not all of them. And it occurs to you that it seems like the houses of the people who are perhaps the most attuned or the most ready for battle are probably the people whose instincts have taken over. So Logan, you see his house, a light comes on. You can see movement from within your chieftain's house. That's Coral Serpent Tongue. You even probably see some lights come from Quail's house. You've started to attune her. You've started to get her ready.
She's such a boss.
She's demonstrating promise. But the bulk of the houses remain quiet. They remain empty. We'll get you to make your scan check to bring you in line with Telos.
84, she failed.
All right, the fog is thick, and though you can see the lights that peek through as people, light candles and begin to move around in their homes, you can't pick out any shapes. Are you calling out anything? Are you saying stay in your homes or anything like that? Or are you remaining quiet?
As she's moving, if she can catch like doors opening, she will just very quickly, she'll bark, get back get back inside, close the door. But she will make her way to Lurgan's. Lurgan's been in the game longer than she has. Maybe he has an idea of what this is.
Probably a good idea. You start to cross through the village. You're moving towards the Oak of Vengeance. Logan's house is just next to it. And you pass by a couple of doors. No one's really opening the door and going to come out, although you see the ratchets of a few windows opening and people moving on the downstairs. And you can knock and say, stay back, stay here. This is dangerous. You will cross over into the center of the village just underneath the Oak of Vengeance. Meanwhile, Tell us.
Me?
Creeping through the village, you can see people moving, you can see this fog rolling in, but your eyes are a little more trained, and you know the patches of fog where they are the thickest, and you're able to use them to hide. You take your time, methodically begin to scan through the area, and suddenly you will pick out a couple of silhouettes that appear to be moving through the center of the town. There is something wrong with these shapes. They're humanoid, and they look at least vaguely to be people, but they are thin and hunched and erratic. They are moving as if their bodies are not correctly aligned, and they throw themselves forward in these jerky, stumbly movements. Some of them are dragging themselves, pulling a foot as they go, and they are moving through the fog as if they are native to it. They are very comfortable moving in the darkness. Your eyes are going to pick out the currently completely unaware Iratia move in to the center of the village under the Oak of Vengeance, and you will see two of these shapes spin about and move slowly towards her in a pincer.
They're slow, right?
They are quite slow. They are also not running. They are, at this point, they are approaching.
So Telos slides to the ground in a cross-legged position and will begin to pull the bow off his back and string it, sort of watching them move and just very much going, I still have time, putting it together, watching Iratia to make sure she doesn't stumble forward. And as I do, is there a knowledge roll I could make on what I presume to be some flavor of skeleton? Like, do I know anything about like I mean, that's just where my head goes, is some sort of undead sort of thing. Is like, would I be aware of stories about these or anything that I might recall?
Absolutely. Why don't you make a homeland lore check?
Okay. Yeah. Like, we always prepare the dead in this way so that they don't come back and stab us.
Now, for thinking skeleton, not that it was particularly difficult, you can add plus 20 to this.
Awesome. So I'm rolling under 70.
Great.
Right, Cookie. That's a success.
That's a success. Nice. Okay, fantastic. One of the shapes passes by pretty close to you, but you are confident in the fact that you are hidden and you continue to string your bow pretty relaxed. The fog is just clear enough here for you to be able to see what is clearly some kind of undead. It is not a skeleton, it is a corpse. It has been prepared in the traditional Orlanthi ways. It has, burial markings across it. It has paint that has been set up. It is in ritual armor. These leather bands that are tied across it, and it is absolutely moving as an undead. This is a disaster. This is a sign that your ancestors are angry, or it is a sign that one of your rival tribes has found magic to compel the dead to attack you, or it is a sign that, dark wizards are about. This is about the worst thing that could come into the town apart from chaos beasts. It's a real serious threat, and these things are mindless, they are deadly, they are dangerous, and they are heading towards Iratia.
How many approximately?
You can see 2 of them at this stage moving through, but that is just with your regular success. And
sure, there might be a few more.
There may very well be others that are about.
Just one more question. When you say it's prepared, would we recognize anything in like how we individually prepared them? Or like I might not be able to tell that immediately, obviously. But like, do I immediately identify these as ours versus someone else's, or am I like, they're Olanthi prepared? Who knows beyond that?
The first moment is Olanthi prepared. You can make a customs local to get a more detailed version, and that could potentially tell you not just clan or tribe, but if they're from your clan, you could potentially know who they are. But that is going to take you an additional second, and what that will mean is that you spend the time to analyze, and you won't be able to take an additional action, like do something like loose an early arrow or give a particular warning to Iratia or something like that. Not that she's going to get jumped; she'll have enough time to notice them arriving. But yeah, that's the
okay. All right, no worries. I'm also going to work on this such that weapons will do something. All right, I'm gonna pull my step back up and draw back the bow, and then as they begin to approach Iratia, once they're getting close enough that she'll be able to spin about, I'm going to let out a high-pitched whistle just to get her attention, and then follow it with another, like a short burst of like 3, just enough to be clearly like it's not a bird or something, so that she starts to look around and notices the figures shambling towards her. And then once she notices, I'm going to let fly.
Fantastic. Iratia, just before you hear this whistle, you are continuing across the fog-shrouded, middle square, heading towards Logan, trying to think. I'm interested in hearing from you. When the kind of tension of battle comes back over Iratia, when a real threat emerges, is she terrified? Is she just thinking about everybody else in the village, or is there kind of like an excitement, almost a guilty pleasure at last, a battle action? What's her thoughts here as a threat descends on her home?
I think the way you articulated it was amazing. What's the thoughts here? I'm going to lay into this mercurial water. I'm going to go high. She's like, let's get after it. And low is like, this is not what we need. This is not what we need. What am I supposed to do? I'm not an adult. 69. Apparently we're going all in.
Okay, your heart is pounding, you are ready, and it is at that moment that you are going to hear 3 short, sharp whistles, and you will tilt your head towards the sound with enough time to see 2 of these hulking, twisted shapes moving out from the fog, and we are going to proceed across to a combat. Fantastic. Great, so combat in RuneQuest. Here's what we do. The first thing is that we get statements of intention from everybody. What is everyone's rough goal? The 2 creatures in front of you, which we are going to call zombies, because that is effectively what they look like. They
Shamblers.
Shamblers.
We don't get our own
walkers,
all that zombie
the
walkers.
They who walk.
The risen.
Yes, exactly. The 2 zombies are both wearing armor that has been prepared especially around them, and for what it's worth, it does appear to be functional. If you hit it, you're going to hit armor. Their flesh is rotted away and wizened, but these special preservatives and systems that are put in place to keep bodies, for burial, have slowed that process slightly and have held them together. They are both pretty close to you, Iratia, and they are both going to lunge forward and start dragging and clawing at you with their hands. They're trying to dive in. So that is their intention. Okay. What is the 2 of your intentions?
It's kind of a metaphor for the whole village, isn't it? All the problems coming to you from the distance.
And
fun.
of course, it's potentially, you know, the old people who are harming you when, you know, you should...
It gets deeper. It gets deeper.
Write that down. Write that down.
Injury.
Look, here is the old traditions, and we, the young and new, as we desecrate.
So,
I'm
statement of
going
intention
to draw the bow tight and then let loose 2 arrows. I'm also going to use a little multi-missile action because I got it. Might as well spend it. So I'm gonna cast a spell on the first shot that fires.
Fantastic. All right. What about you, Iradia?
You teed me up with the whole, like, how are you feeling? And since apparently she's in full battle mode, we're just going to turn and swing.
Fantastic. All right, so you turn about, you were going to leap forward, pick one of them at random, and slash. Very quickly, Bridget, you're just a little quiet. If there's any hot mic swapping we can do.
How's pulled up the gain? How am I sounding now?
Bueno.
Sounds good. Perfect. Yep.
Bueno, perfect. Thank you.
Great. So we now go across to strike rank. The 2 zombies are going to attack on a strike rank of 7. That is them lumbering forward. And they are going to attack with a large swing. What are your strike ranks? What will you both be attacking on?
Okay, so I can figure mine out.
coming in at a 6.
You're on 6?
6, yes, sir.
Yep, so you're just going to manage to get off a swing before the zombies attack. Good timing. What about you? Tell us.
I'm going to be slower than that. So I've got the bow knocked and drawn back. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to release on Dex 1. And as I do it, I'm going to cast 2 points of multi-missile. First one's free. The second one costs 1. So that's going to increase it to 2. Then 5 to reload again, bringing me to 7. And 1 to fire once more, bringing me to 8 total for 2 shots, 2 points of multi-missile on the first. And I'm going to all fire them on one target. Ideally the one that's further... Or the one that's further... It doesn't matter, really. Whichever one. Do I get to... Is that how it works? If Irachi goes first, do I kind of see who she attacks and then on my one I can aim it? Or do I have to kind of declare who I'm firing at right out of the gate?
The idea here would be that if there is a significant difference between those 2 outcomes, you would want to state it in your statement of intention. If it's kind of irrelevant, I shoot one of them, it doesn't matter which, we can figure that out once you get to it. But if the key idea is I shoot the one that Iracha is hitting, or I shoot the one that Iracha is not hitting, you'll want to get that across in your statement of intention.
I'll say the one that's not, that you're not hitting then, in the hopes that we can take it both out immediately.
Fantastic.
Who knows? Maybe it's just that easy.
Iratia, you leap forward, your blade flashes in the moonlight, and you are able to make a swing. Can I get you to make a broadsword roll? And do you want to give us a brief description of what Iratia looks like when she fights? Is it like a dancing sort of swordsmanship? Is it rough and savage? What's your battle mode?
You know what? Her battle mode depends on her mood, like everything else in her life. So her mother was probably very elegant. The Ronaldo priestess, where everything was just very musical and enchanting, and even when she was beheading and killing things, it was adorable. we have determined with the role that apparently she's in feral mode right now. So this is probably much more bestial. There's probably grunting. There's not a whole lot of like actual form, like she's actually teaching quail right now. This is just bloodthirst right now.
Excellent.
Are you able
do as
to
I say, not what I do. So you make a swing against your broadsword skill.
Perfect. Are we able to augment combat scores or combat attacks?
You absolutely are able to augment combat attacks. Now, have you augmented anything else in this scene?
Yeah,
tell us.
I can't. I'm better at hiding or moving quietly at the moment, so I'm locked in.
But I don't think you are,
no, I don't think you do.
Iracha. So you can augment with something.
Okay. Now, does that bonus apply just to this immediate hit or duration of the combat?
It will apply to whatever skill you augment for the duration of the scene. Of course, if you get a penalty, there might be downsides that apply to your skills for the duration of the scene, but that's something to balance.
I love it. So let's stick with what you teed me up. I'm going to roll against my water, that mercurial nature, for where she is from her mind. Yes, she hit a 24 under 55, just made it.
Okay, fantastic. That is a plus 20 to your broadsword skill.
Not
what does that bring you to?
All right. And rolling under a 75, she hit a, oh God, this is a pitiful roll. She hit a 52.
Okay, that is still a success. So the zombie, which when you get close, you can see its face sort of like twisted and jerking. It's not even making savage like roars or facial expressions. It's just as if it's animated in this indistinct way. And it has no regard for its personal safety. It does not attempt to dodge. It does not attempt to evade. It simply reaches towards you, and you can swing down with the weapon and crunch, bring it against the creature. So roll a d20. I'll tell you where you hit it.
Are they carrying weapons, Jim?
Pardon me? They do not have weapons. Sorry. No weapons on the zombies.
We're about to find out that we're attacking
no
our unarmed ancestors, only here to warn us against the troubles to come.
They are diving forward and looking pretty intent to scratch your eyes out.
They're warning us about themselves.
19 on the D20.
19 is the head. So you swing forward and you strike directly against this thing's head. It has a leather coif, as I said, that has been ritualistically wrapped around it, but that's a good shot. Roll your damage, which I believe for your broadsword is 1d8 plus your damage bonus of 1d4 plus 1.
Guys, with a 1d8 plus 1d4 plus 1, my total is a 4.
Oh, no.
I rolled a 2 and a 1.
That is not great. So you kind of You swing out, but you're not necessarily expecting this thing to just keep going. You slash across its face and its eye, a wound that would have been very serious for a regular opponent, but it just keeps coming at you, utterly ignoring the wound that you have dealt. It reduces the damage by 2 for reference, but you still have slashed across its face. And then before you know it, both of the creatures fall upon you.
Know it. Here we go.
Here it is.
You're in trouble.
So they are both going to make an attack against you, Iracha. Okay. Now you can attempt to dodge these attacks, or you can attempt to block them and defend against them with your sword skill.
Do you wear armor, Iracha?
She has armor, but she didn't put it on. She's in her soaking wet nightgown and a coat that's about to get
we're in our spotty pajamas.
Not fantastic. Right. No. Okay.
Jesus. So, all right, Jim, you said my options were dodge or block?
Dodge or block. Dodge or parrying specifically. So you can use your weapon skill to attempt to parry the hit. There are 2 hits coming at you, which means that you're going to get a stacking debuff essentially to parry them both because there's too many.
Got it.
But yeah, you can still act.
Let's stay feral. She's going to parry both.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay, fantastic. All right. So the first attack is going to come in, and that is going to be a hit, a regular success. Could you please make your parry check?
Regular success as well.
Okay, a normal attack versus a normal parry means that your parrying weapon takes the damage. In this case, it's just diving with its hands and scratching, so you're able to fend it back, and it's not going to overwhelm any damage to your weapon. So you slash back at this thing, yelling as the other one. The
attacker does roll damage.
Does roll damage. It'll hit the weapon, and it does not have the damage dice to be able to overcome the weapon.
Oh, okay, yeah, gotcha. He's on it.
So it technically what it would do is it would damage your sword, and if it's over a certain amount, it starts to reduce the hit points of your sword. So your sword can potentially break. But this thing does not deal enough attacks or damage with just its hands to be able to break your sword.
Just break the sword. Got it.
Exactly.
Still messy and gross though.
Exactly. Now the
good.
second one is going to attack as well. That is a much better hit. It has a pretty low attack skill, so it is still a regular, but it is one off a special. Nice. I will ask you to once again make a parrying check, and this time I believe you will take a negative 20% debuff for having to parry once more. A second attack.
So this is just 55, 21 under 55.
21 under 55. That is another success. So once again, you slash one side as this thing comes diving at you. The other one comes through. You whack it back again. It's not neat. It's not pretty, but it works. We jump across now to tell us. It's your turn.
The whip. All right. So I'm making like a dickload of attacks. So the first one, and they're all neither got hit, so it doesn't really matter. But the first one is going to be a success for a whopping 2 damage against hit location at the abdomen.
That is going to get completely absorbed by its armor. The thing doesn't even seem to react as it slams in.
Wow.
But as the shaft flies, it splits into 2 more. So I'm going to make the 2 multi-missile attacks now. So the first one is a failure, so the damage does not matter. It goes over its head, and the second is a hey, special.
Fantastic.
Nice.
Special for 3 damage against hit location. The left leg.
Classic.
Does the special do
Classic
anything
left
for
leg.
me here?
A special on a missile attack, I believe, should. There should be a particular damage increase for it. I cannot remember what that is off the top of. A special that deals double damage. So roll
and
twice.
RQ Stefan's clarified that they don't special, which is true. I was actually just reading that only the first one can do cool dude shit. So this one just does. So again, it's only 3 damage though, so it might not even hit.
Okay, 3 damage. It's going to go through the armor. The armor is 2 points globally, but it is going to hit the. It's going to hit the left leg. So one of them has been struck in the leg. The other one has been cut across the face. But neither of these appear to be particularly serious wounds that have been inflicted on.
And then I
either
do
of
have
them.
one more shot. So that was the multi-missile for the first, and the second attack for knocking and refiring is going to deal. Okay, that's better. That is a success, and it's 6 damage at long last against the left leg.
Wow.
Against the left leg again.
Always the left leg.
Left leg.
Look, that's a lot better. 6 damage. This one is going to be reduced once again by 2, bringing it to 5. You are 1 short of managing to disable its leg.
Nice.
So its left leg is on 1 hit point, but it is wobbling, and its leg starts to kind of fold out underneath it as it continues to try and scratch at Iratia. We go back to the top, statement of intention. But first of all, a wind whips through the village at this point as immediately, tension builds, the combat awakens whatever latent magic is in the area, and you can feel Orlanth's, fury brushing the fog away, at least slightly. And as the fog begins to billow out, you'll get a better glimpse of the town square. Standing right below the Oak of Vengeance is a much taller one of these zombies, and it is wearing the regalia of some kind of ruler or prince or champion or important figure. Its armor is made of bronze, and held in one of its hands, dragged across the ground, leaving a great furrow up to the base of the tree is an enormous maul. It is gazing at this point at the tree in a state of reverence. But as we begin the new round, the statement of intentions of all the creatures, the 2 zombies are going to continue to attack Iratia, and the one in the middle is going to crane its head around and begin moving towards you, Iratia, dragging this enormous war club behind it as it moves.
Uh-oh.
This one looks much more deadly. What are the 2 of you going to do?
The boss came out to play. Dear God, help us. Jesus.
So I am going to knock and draw another arrow, fire it at the large one that's heading towards Iratia, and I'm also casting coordination on myself, so I cannot fire twice this round, and that's going to bring me to something that I'll figure out now, but that's my 4th round. So
Fantastic. Okay. Iratia.
Iratia, seeing this guy, is going to snarl at him. Can I drop a protection and also attack one of the zombies right in front of me the same round?
Yes, but that is going to put your strike rank quite high. So casting protection is going to add +5, +1 on your normal hit of 6. You'll be acting at strike rank 11 for that.
Okay. I have a feeling that something very bad is inbound.
I think anything with protection in it is a good call. Especially since all of them seem to be going towards you, which I love for one, and I think is great. You keep doing you over there.
Yeah, thanks, Telos.
No worries. I'm
You
going to
keep
go back to
being loud
the
and making
woods.
noise.
You've got this, right?
Okay. Now, in case it wasn't clear, the zombie, the large one with the maul, is going to spend its entire turn dragging itself to engage with you, Iratia. So it moves terrifyingly forward. It goes on an earlier strike rank, but since it's using all of its movement, it doesn't get a chance to attack. It engages with you, and that's what it does. Since you are acting on strike rank 11, the 2 other zombies are both going to try and claw at you viciously, as they did before. The first one, this is the one with the arrow in its leg. This time is not going to do as well. It is going to swing out wildly, and it is going to completely miss. Whereas the second, as it attempts to claw at you, will succeed. So you can attempt to parry this. You should technically, I should have gotten you to parry the first one as well. So if you intended to parry, I'll get you to roll 2 parries, and the second
you
one
can get like
it.
you can special it and whatever. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. So you'll have to tell me how the rules work on this one. She hit a 9 on the very first parry where the guy missed.
Okay, 9 on the very first parry. That is absolutely fantastic. Is that a special or a critical for you?
I believe just a special.
right.
Right now she's hitting at a 75.
Okay, fantastic. You
975 is special, right? Yeah.
Yep. You roll your double damage. So roll your damage dice, which is your D8 plus 1, and you roll the D8 twice.
Oh, very interesting. Okay, we'll take that and run then.
So far, so good.
So 2d8 my damage bonus. That's plus 1. So much better here. We're looking at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
12 damage. Okay, that's absolutely fantastic. Now, this thing dived forward, and it would get applied to this thing's weapon, but it doesn't have a weapon. It's trying to grab at you with its hands. So as you strike forward, it comes to sweep, and you are able to slice off one of its hands in the forearm that goes tumbling to the ground. The hand lands, and it begins immediately to
No, it doesn't.
work around and keep moving. Whereas you've done a huge amount of damage to this thing, and it staggers backwards. It looks almost like it's kind of remembering for a second that it should be dead, and it seems to sag, but whatever energy is holding it up maintains for at least a little while longer. It is going to continue to charge forward. Reed, you have almost overwhelmed its max total HP, which will take it down.
Okay.
Got it.
The second
and then
one,
just a regular success on a parry. It was a 32 under 75.
once again, it grabs a hold of your weapon, starts to wrestle against you, but you're able to block it. The other one, though, with the maul, has gotten right up close to your face and is standing there snarling. Do you know your final strike rank? Tell us. Will you be going before I reach as 11?
Yeah, so the only issue is I remember the shooting into melee rules, or I remember that they exist after resolving the last one. So if they're all in a melee now, I divide my skill by the number of creatures in the melee. So that is no longer super, like I divide it by 4, which pretty much brings me down to the bottom. So am I able to get a shot off on the thing before it reaches, or it's in there, right? Because that's all it did.
It's using its full action to move. I'm perfectly fine with you trying to hit it before it gets there. It has a pretty decent way to go. So please, make your attack as normal against the one with the armor and the maul.
Appreciado. That said, my last one should have been lower as well, so I probably missed a chance, but these things happen. So first I'm casting Coordination on myself, which is a skill that increases my dexterity and lowers my strike rank, which lets me fire faster. So it's sort of, uncanny grace. And then I'm going to fire again. And now my logic is, so it's going to take me 5 to ready the spell, plus 1 to cast it. So I'm at 6. Then 5 to knock and draw another one. My dexterity is reduced to 0 now, my strike rank. So fantastic. I'm at 11 to fire. And then so this is where it gets, so multi-missile is cast through the weapon. Do I need the 5 to ready that and fire again, or can I multi-missile off
It's
of that?
Built into the weapon. It's like a matrix for casting Blade Sharp. It's part of the thing. You don't need to.
That's what I was thinking. So in that case, I am going on 12, as I will multi-missile twice again and make my attack. So it's going to be 3 attacks against Old Boy, Big Fella.
Another flurry of blows from Telos, but first Iretia. You are going on strike rank 11. We begin, but you're going to cast protection on yourself. Can I get you to please make a power roll to activate your spirit magic?
Beautiful. This is POW times 5, I'm assuming?
Yes, that's correct.
We're fine. 21 under something.
Okay, you are going to cast 2 points of spirit magic protection across your body, a shimmering force that protects you. Does it take any particular form that you can think of?
At this point, since we're leaning onto the water, it's probably just very aquatic looking, kind of like that interior blue that you get from like an aquarium.
Oh, that's awesome. Like this shimmering, rippling...
Like that shimmery aquatic feel right now?
That comes across you. I love that. And then you can make your regular swing. Do you want to target the one that you have already damaged a lot, or target the one that is a bit in better shape? The one that is in better shape, though, is not perfect because it has been hit by a couple of arrows from Telos.
Let's see if we can knock the one that she's already playing with out of the game. I feel like Mom would have said, eliminate targets. Walking
If you
target is still
dive
one I can
forward,
hit.
once again, this thing has no ability to parry your attacks. It just savagely charges.
Guys, I'm so sorry. It's an 87 over
Oh,
75.
no.
She missed.
You swing forward, but it's inside your range, and there's two of them against you. You can't get your arm free. You're frantically backing away. You just don't have time. Telos, you unleash another volley of shots. Do you have like what's Telos's shooting face? Like people who play piano or guitar or whatever. What does he look like when he's deeply focused?
Again, it's very focused. He lets his eyes like half closed that might look sleepy, but to him it's like probably like narrowing field of view, so it's only focusing on the target, and he's very single-minded in what he's doing. So for all this, he won't hear anything else that's going on. He's just focusing on the battle. The rest of the world is dead to him.
Nice.
First attack is going to be a success for 6 damage against hit location 7.
Fantastic.
Which,
Hit
if this thing is
location
the same
7.
size as us, is going to be...
Left leg.
The damn left leg again, guys. We're so consistent.
Left leg, it happens. There is a special Rune Quest dice that you can buy to roll hit locations. We have here one of them. These are from Q Workshop, and there is a joke that there is a stacked number of left leg positions on these dice because you're going to roll left leg all the time.
So that is 7 damage to that. Then
Fantastic.
the second 2 in these ones cannot special, so that is a I don't think it's a fumble because I think my skill is high enough. I rolled a 99.
Ooh. Okay, a 99. Your fumble range on a 99 should be. Let me just check through my notes here to confirm. If you have above 71,
I'm all right. I got a 78.
Okay, you are fine then. 78. By the skin of your teeth, you managed to avoid fumbling.
All right. So that is enough. All right. This one's gonna fail as well. Miss.
The other two whiz past, slam into the ground. This thing is moving, slowly, but it's erratic. It jerks out of range at just the wrong time. But one hit did go through, and it appears to have landed powerfully. Meanwhile, for your coordination. Did you make your power roll to cast coordination?
No, I didn't. Good call.
Get you to
Totally
do that
forgot about that
retroactively?
step. Just assumed it worked. I should have been doing that for multi-missile too, right?
I do not believe so. I think that's the beauty of it being inside your weapon matrix. But I will review that after the session. But
Okay.
let's
I have
continue.
succeeded the coordination one at least.
Okay, perfect. So that spell went ahead without any trouble. Back up to the top of the round. One of these zombies is really hurt. It's looking like it's falling down, but it is going to dive in and attack. The other one, which has got a couple of arrows, is going to try and surround you, and they're both going to basically just try and tear you down and harass you. Meanwhile, this big one is going to reach up with this huge maul, this war axe that could take your head off, and it is going to make a massive swing. To add to the confusion, at this point, people are going to start running in. Doors are going to open, and you can see some people step out. Most people are too scared to do anything. You'll spot Quail watching and yelling. The only person who is brave enough is Lurgan, and he's going to run forward without any armor. He is going to rip open his sword, and he's going to try and leap into the fray to engage alongside you, Iratia.
An absolute
God
animal.
bless him. Yeah, he's beast mode for sure.
There we go. So, what strike ranks are the two of you acting on?
I am just thinking.
Rachel, will you be doing anything else rather than standard sword attack?
No, we're gonna have the big boys here now. Now we've also got a civilian in the fray. She's gonna have to come out playing or come out swinging at this point.
Okay, so that means you'll be acting on strike rank 6 for a regular slash attack with your broadsword. The zombies, once again, are going to be acting on strike rank 7. The larger one, attacking with a maul, is going to be acting on strike rank 8. It's going to take up into strike rank 10 for Lurgan to be able to make it across and make his attack. Tell us, where are you?
I got buttons and I'm going to push every button I've got. So I am going to almost, it's not just dropping the bow, it's going to sort of like almost reverently place it on the ground on the threshold of one of the people's houses. And mentally I go, I know whose house this is, mate. I'm going to come back for that if you fucking take it, you bastard.
Count the pennies, the count of the arrows.
And then he's going to almost get down onto all fours, put one leg up against the door, sort of keeping it closed for the people trying to come out as well, and then push off it, and then racing along the ground, almost on all fours with two hands dragging in the ground behind him. I'm going to cast Claws, which means my hands turn into like these large panther pads with massive black claws at the end of them, raking through the ground beneath me. I'm going to engage into the melee, and I'm going to go absolutely feral on this big boy.
A fantastic attack. What strike rank will that land on?
So, what's the one with rune? So it's 2 rune points to cast. Where does that go?
Rune points get cast immediately, so the rune activation happens right away, but your turn itself will happen wherever your full strike rank calculation would be.
Okay, sweet. So the targets can claw. They go 5 strike ranks apart. I need to figure out what the strike rank for. Hang on 1 second. So 5.
Sounds like it's going to be high, so we can step across the zombies.
Yeah, it's going to be
while
like
you do the
10.
final
It's going to be like
calculation.
10.
Okay, so let's get out of the way first with the quickest to act. In the middle of this chaos, 3 attacks coming your way, Iracha. You swing up with your sword. Are you targeting the armored one, the wounded one, or the relatively unhurt one?
I mean, the big boy is in play right now. She has to go after the boss.
Okay, fantastic. Make for me, please, a broadsword attack.
Broadsword.
Oh, thank God. At least she made it. There's nothing sexy about it. It's just a regular success.
Okay. Well, before you do anything, I hate to throw out another complication in the works, but as you swing towards this thing, its head tilts, and it is going to try and move its warhammer to intercept. It has the capacity to attempt to block you.
Well,
so
look
it's
at
going to
him
roll
being
its weapon
fancy.
skill.
That's
Luckily,
our trick, you big zombie.
It's going to fail. So although it
Where do you
swings
get
to
off?
try and block, you dart underneath and manage to land.
Heh. So if the
So
attack
roll your
land, I
damage
hit him.
and tell me the hit location.
All right, so we are on a right leg. Damage is still so trash. God, it's only 6 points of damage onto the right leg.
6
She is
points
going
of
to
damage,
snarl
not
at
great,
him.
but you are getting there. The armor is going to be, it's better than the leather armor that these ones are wearing, but 2 points of damage is still going to go through. You have now got a couple of licks in on this one. Unfortunately, it is at this point that the others descend upon you. First to act are the 2 regular zombies. Once again, I will remind you that if you try to block using your sword, you get a stacking debuff for each consecutive hit. So you may want to think about saving your block for that massive warhammer that is about to come down crashing upon you.
Okay.
All right. The first zombie attacks. Would you like to block?
It's a debuff, and it'll be at a 20. I'm going to block for this one and then save the next one for the other guy.
Sure.
You can
Okay.
kind of alternate the dodge, right, to shake it off.
You can alternate to dodge as well. That is going to be a hit. Succeeds, dives in, scratches against you. How did your block go?
Regular success.
Regular success. Once again, managing to wrench it away as you spin around to face the other one, which dives in. Are you going to block?
No, this is the other regular zombie.
This is the other regular zombie.
No, she has to eat it.
Good decision. It misses on this one, rolling a 47. So it dives through, and you manage to just kind of like edge it away as you spin around, just in time to see this huge maul swinging towards you at top speed. You can see behind Telos racing forward. Will it be quick enough? You're blocking?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. It's going to make its
Lord
roll.
help us on this one. Okay.
That is a regular success.
It's just a regular success here, too. 37 and
Okay, that's fine. You swing up with your sword and you manage to pull it above your head to block the warhammer, but this one absolutely has the chance to go through. There is a massive crash. Your sword is going to take 8 points of damage. That does not overwhelm it, but that's a relatively low roll on this thing. So it glances and your whole sword rings out as you stagger backwards. It hasn't overwhelmed, so it's not broken. You're still intact. But we now dart across. Do you think you're hitting before Lurgan or not? Tell us.
I don't think so. Yes, I think I am actually. I think I'm on 7 plus rune point, whatever the rune point does for me.
That'll bring you up to, I think, that'll bring you up for 2 points. First point free, so that should bring you up to 8. We just did 8 for this thing, so you go now.
Okay,
so please, just you dive across the ground, claws launch out. What happens?
So as I can see it, unarmed attack is on 4 for the strike rank, and then I add to that my size strike rank and my dex strike rank, right?
That's correct. Your dex strike rank is 0.
My strike is 0, but my size is 6, so which brings me to 6. Which means on second, and then these can like consecutive attack on +5. Anyway, I don't think I have the speed to multi-attack basically.
I think you can. 7 + 5, that'll bring you to 12. If you
but I need to do all the other strike rank. I still need to add my strike rank to it again. Like I still need to add 4 and
yes, you're right.
So it's not close. So it's gonna be a single attack. That's not good. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll.
Which one are you targeting?
A big boy.
The big boy. Okay.
Big boy.
Big bastard.
He will spin around. He will attempt to block.
Wow.
Cheeky devil. He's using our strategies against us.
He's going to utterly fail.
Excellent. I'm rolling against 55. That's not the dice I use anymore. And so what this does is this brings my claws up to a d6 plus damage bonus. 8 this, you bastard. That is a success. To hit location 1 for 5 damage.
Hit location 1 for
on the right leg
damage.
for a change.
Right leg for a change. Second hit, this thing landing on its right leg. As you rake your claws along, you're down on all fours basically. So this makes sense. It's just sort of feral jumping around.
Oh shit! I need to roll to cast the spell too, though.
You do darkness roll.
Is it darkness or?
Oh, I'm sorry. I presumed it was darkness because that would have been your associated rune. Yeah, you can do any rune associated with
Success. We're good.
Success. All right, you're fine. Spell activates as normal. You dive in, you make the slash, you attack, and we now jump across to Lurgan, who is going to rush in and he's going to try and strike at one of the wounded zombies. Bridget, you've made friends with Lurgan. Do you want to roll for him?
Yeah, we'll roll for Lurgan, see how the baby does. I don't know what he's attacking with. What does he have?
That's all right. I've got his stats here. Just give me the D100 roll.
Ooh, 36.
36. He's a trained warrior. That is absolutely going to land.
Huzzah!
He will strike in with this broadsword that he's pulled out. It's a little rusty. It's a little older. In fact, it looks it's got the same filigree as the armor that these zombies are wearing because it's from a couple of generations ago. But it is going to slam down. I will get you to roll 1d8 plus 1, not with the +4. He does not have your damage bonus. Age has robbed him of his strength.
It has because it only does 2 total.
Only does 2 total, and it will not go through the armor. Tragedy.
I need
as
a
it
better
slams
D8.
down. Would have maybe taken this thing out. So did he roll a flat 1? That's the worst possible thing he could have gotten.
That's exactly
oh my
what he
God, Lurgan, what are you doing?
Which is what I've been rolling all night too. I'm switching dice. It's fine, guys. Everything's gonna be fine here next round.
Brilliant. Okay. Top of the round. Actions resume. At this stage, the rest of the crowd are going to try and move in. They're going to try and give some sort of help. They're yelling, they're shouting. Some people are throwing things. There's debris around. Lurgan is in the fray now. One of the zombies is going to spin towards him, the one that he is engaged, and it's going to dive upon him. One of them is going to continue to attack you, Iratia, but Telos, you have just engaged the large one. And after scratching it, it will turn around and it will try and swing down its hammer upon you.
Sick.
That is the order of everybody happening. Logan's going to try and slash out. What are the two of you doing, and what strike ranks will you be landing on?
I am on strike rank 6 for my... So I'm at 4 for the slash, plus 2 for my size, brings me to 6 for the first strike rank. And then it says I can attack again on 5 after, but as I understand, I would need to spend 5 after and then spend the full attack again, which is like almost impossible to ever apply.
5 after. I think that you're assuming that you have to. I think that the calculation of 5 is calculating the full attack
That's
value.
what I'm.
That is what I'm going to read it as. That my understanding is that claw lets you kind of savage in. That's the purpose of it.
So I'm going to go on 11 and I'm going to attack twice on the big.
And you're targeting the large one.
Big boy. Yeah.
Excellent. Iratia, we're getting another slash at strike rank 6, or are you going to throw anything else out?
Yeah, I think unless I'm wrong, my strike rank should go up to 11 if she drops strength and attacks the big guy on the same round. Correct?
That's correct.
Perfect. Let's do that.
Okay, fantastic. Make sure you are tracking the expenditure of magic points that you use. So you cast 2 magic points when you cast protection on yourself, but the battle will continue as we jump through. First to act then is going to be the zombie that attacks you, Iracha. It dives forward, it attempts to claw at you. Are you going to parry?
Okay. Yes, I will. First attack, I will.
Okay, it misses. Make your parry roll.
25, success.
25, that is a success. That is a successful parry. Once again, this thing this is the unwounded one. The wounded one engaged with Lurgan, but you can roll your normal damage.
Okay. Oh, I'm so glad I got these dice out. 8, 3, 1. What is that, guys?
8 plus 4, 3
12?
plus 1 is 12.
Oh shit, now you're cooking.
12.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Now you
Yeah,
are cooking.
I brought the new dice out.
12 reduced to 10. This thing has already been peppered by arrows from Telos. This is enough to take it down. So as it dives forward, you kind of slash across it furiously. Can you describe your kill move on this? What does it look like when you dispatch this zombie?
Yeah, everything was cute and funny until Irving came out here, and the rest of the town is out engaged right now. Because now it's like it's a whole new world. So her focus right now is Telos is in grave danger. She's got an elder in the town to her left. So this isn't sexy by any means. She probably does like the face mush to this zombie, where she like does the hand directly into the face and then guts it and just moves both halves out of the way,
it in half.
so she can focus on the big boy. Yeah.
Perfect. It collapses to the ground, and you see it begin to like wriggle around on the ground. To be clear, you've overcome its total hit points. So at this point, the magic that is holding it is breaking apart. You don't need to worry about where you hit it in terms of hit location. You've taken it.
Got it.
We jump across now to the other zombie, which is going to attack Lurgan. Lurgan will block. I'm just going to roll these quickly because I have all the stats here and I can do it fast.
Come on, Lurgan.
Lurgan takes it out. Another one dives, and he does the same thing as you. He watches and, with the hand mush on the face, dives forward, slashes. Excellently done.
That's a good trick.
Meanwhile, this big thing swings about, and it is going to try and slam down an attack against you.
Please
Telos.
don't, sir. Hang on, wait, before let me declare, don't tell me what you're doing just yet. Sorry. I never calculated I think 36. I think I'm gonna dodge.
Okay. All right. It swings down, and the blow is swift and devastating.
Oh, boy.
It is a palpable hit as it strikes down. Make your dodge check.
Okay, my dodge is fine. Not great, but it's fine.
Come on, Telos.
Oh my god, that is a success, but only because I've got coordination up. Yeah, success.
Okay, fantastic. You dive to the side and you manage to, let me just confirm that. No attack versus, okay, yeah. It was about 1 off a special success, which on a normal would have still landed and then dealt special damage against you. You saw what this thing does. For reference, it's 2d8 plus some bonuses. So that would have done 4d8, slamming down for this incredible hit. You just managed to avoid it, and dirt hits up in every direction from this thing as it looks up, and its like cloudy eyes continue to track you. One of them sagged out from the slash. Oh no, sorry, that was the other one. Cloudy eyes continue to track you as per normal. Then we go across to the 2 of your turns now. I believe that Aracha is landing first.
Okay. So this is an attack on the big guy with fresh dice. That's how we do with the strength. She's hitting at an 80 at this point. She rolled a 41, so it's just a regular success.
All right.
Regular success is totally fine. This guy will try to riposte. He will fail to riposte.
Thank God.
So block.
19 on the hit location.
18 hit location is going
19.
Knock him right in the head.
Good stuff. Okay. Slamming in the head. What is your damage dealt?
With the adjusted with the strength score, this will be 5, 3, 8, 9.
9 damage, reduced by 4 for the armor, comes to a total of 5 damage applied. You were starting to move through its health now. You've done a total of 12 damage to it, and it is starting to wobble, but it is still up and it is still deadly. You can see its hands grip around its weapon as it turns to swing, but first, Telos.
Telos is sort of like, as soon as Iracha comes in, he takes the opportunity to take a step back, measure everything, kind of sway back and forth a little bit, and then lunge forward. And I'm gonna try and I'll probably just try and kill him. You know, seems like
Makes
a good
sense.
trick. Yeah, you dog.
It's
You
the best trick ever.
You animal. It's a good trick, but one that will not succeed at the moment. I'm one off, so it's a fail on the first attack.
First attack swings. It tries to
56.
block. It tries to block.
This could go
gets
badly.
a shot first. That doesn't succeed.
Oh no, I really want it to succeed, because if it deals damage to it, I presume it's damage to my arms directly.
Yeah, it would be. It's what's happened to the
Oh,
zombies. So you
God.
go, ow, ow, my hands. Luckily, it rolled a 91. So
All right, let's try this again. And it has difficulty increasing because it's consecutive parries, right?
yeah, it is. I mean, it will fumble a 91. I don't think it will.
Fail.
No.
And it would have been the head too.
Oh no!
I failed.
Two claws coming in. Unfortunately, neither of them strike. It tries to parry again. For the other one, this will succeed.
Yes.
Oh shit!
It successfully parries against you.
Roll your
Going
damage.
to deal- It is going to deal 7 points of damage
Hubba.
to your attacking weapon, which in this case is your arm. So you can choose your right arm or your left arm.
I assumed
depending
it's
on-
both. So I assumed the first was the right arm, the second was the left. It parries that, and so 7 damage is. Oh yeah, dude, that's. I'm a -3. It's almost enough to under again.
Oh my god! So do you want to describe it? I mean, you're not wearing armor, so it doesn't block.
Yeah, hell yeah. So what's it wielding? It's got a great big hammer, right?
It's got this massive. It's an ornate, like, ceremonial war axe, the kind of thing that would like have been led at the battle of it's a half maul, half broad axe.
Is this thing showing intelligence?
It is showing.
What about martial prowess? I would suppose
Yes,
the word. Like
yes, it's acting on instinct, ingrained in the corpse. Muscle memory, long decayed, are still like thousands of hours of practice with this damn weapon.
I would love it if it's. Yeah, I think it like kind of faints me, right? So I come in. I think I see weakness. It's the head is almost like off, right? And so as it lunges down to Iracha, I lash out at it. The first one just rakes across armor, and as I go for the second, it suddenly moves much faster than I anticipated. It is able to get the axe up and like catch me along the slide, on the side, right in the forearm and down it. I think it's a massive bloody cut.
There is a
rivulets
douse
dropping
of
into the ground
blood
below.
and a sickening crunch. Do you cry out in pain, or is it like a hiss? What's Tellus's reaction to
Oh
being
yeah. I think I let out like a pretty shrill scream as I fall back, but I'm not out yet.
No, you're not. If it was slightly lower, you might have been completely incapacitated.
Oh,
You
yeah.
drop anything you're holding with that hand, but you're not
No,
holding it.
my claws.
And as it falls to your side, you are still around. Lurgan has no way that he can possibly try against this thing. But what he is doing, and what the entire village is going to do now, they are sort of around yelling, trying to just sort of distract this. It is going to apply a plus 20 bonus to any attacks you make against this thing. Meanwhile, it swings around. Telos, it's seen an opening. It is going to strike directly for you, swinging this massive overhead hit. It is going to be acting on strike rank 8. What are the two of you doing?
I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna attack twice on 11. 11.
Okay. Twice on 11. Iracha?
Iracha's gonna stay with the 6 and attack straight on. She's buffed.
You see this axe raise Iracha, and you can see your half-brother crouched down, death flying straight towards him. You leap forward, this thing's back is towards you. Are you quick enough to strike? Broadsword, plus 20 for the augment, plus 20 for the assistance from Lurgan as he darts in, yells, the shouts of the entire village around you.
Let's see, guys. Shit, I really wish this were sexier. It's a 68 under. Her base is 80 right now, and that's not given the modifiers you just threw out.
So it's definitely a success.
That is absolutely
regular
a success then. You dive forward and you strike. It moves. Technically, it gets a chance to parry. I know I gave this really cool moment, but it like tries to twist out of the way.
Yes.
It completely fluffs it. Your damage will strike. It has a lot of armor, but it does not have much health remaining. You are looking for a target number. If you can make it, you're going to be able to take it out before it gets through. Specifically,
all right, guys, we'll see what happens. It's a
You'll-
total
you'll-
damage of 12.
a 12.
It's 12 damage, yeah.
Oh my
Hell
god,
yeah.
that's your max, right? 1d8 plus 4? Plus 1.
Now, I'm rolling a d6 with the strength up. It went from d4 to d6 on the
Yeah. Oh,
modifier.
of course.
Yes.
Fantastic. That's well above what you needed. It had
Thank
4
God.
health left, and it had 4 armor. We were looking for a target of 8, but you are absolutely going to slam it. So tell us,
Have that.
looking up, this thing is winging its weapon towards you, when all of a sudden, I don't know, does a sword burst through its chest? What do you do, Iracha? How do you take this thing out?
As much as she would love to be, Billy Badass in this moment, this is probably like her throwing herself in front of her brother just to stop that, that attack from coming in, and just perfect positioning, perfect timing. Maybe it is just the pure blessings of Orlanth. As this thing is bearing down on her brother, it's actually just bearing down until its own death.
Fuck yes.
Phenomenal. You dive forward, cut across it once you get in front of Telos, and it staggers back. It looks towards you, and its hands tighten on the weapon. You can almost see its eyes narrow, a vestige of some kind of intelligence left, and then it collapses, and suddenly it is a corpse again, falling ungainly to the ground, where when it hits, the aged and brittle bones shatter. The fog is departing, and the corpses of 3 zombies lie in the center of the town. Wails start from around the village as people are kind of panicked in confusion. Logan is gasping. He's holding at his chest. Very easily could have had a heart attack from all the exertion. People are going to rush towards you, Telos. You can see Coral's serpent tongue being risen. He is walking out and looking about. He notably doesn't have his weapons on him. He hasn't grabbed them as he comes, and the entire town is going to basically dissolve into yells and chaos. I put the floor to the two of you. What are you both doing? Tell us, with the caveat that you're probably pretty wounded at this stage.
I've been flipping, stabbed, slashed. All of the
Absolutely.
above.
So people are going to rush forward, and there are people with healing magic in the town who can attempt to help you. So that they will be able to restore some of your hit points. But in the immediate aftermath, what's sort of the conversations that happen? Rachel, are you doing anything particular? You're sort of the speech maker here, and a lot of people are looking towards you for direction.
Wow, because her adrenaline is high, and I wish she had something profound to say or do in this moment. Right now, she's actually just grateful to be alive and grateful that nobody died, and really grateful that Telos is making it. So the direction is just very, because she should be speaking or thinking grand scale. Everything is very minuscule right now. So it's just the things that approach her in the moment is what's hey, nope, Telos needs this. Hey, we need to figure this out. So it's very in the moment, as she's probably collapsed onto the ground with her knees drawn up. She's still in her nightgown at this point.
Okay, fantastic. Do you want to make an orate or an intimidate check for me, just to see sort of how quickly you're able to get through and organize the people to act?
See if she's able to cut through her own kind of trauma on this one. This is a 23 under 49. We made it.
23 under 49. Okay, fantastic. As you can tick the skill as you begin to yell and sort of point people about. Everyone is darting this way and that. As people surround you, Telos, you can see the door open. It's almost going to knock your bow off the landing, but you kind of yelling, trying to point with your wounded arm. You're hurt. Fortunately, people are going to be able to dive forward and help. Now, you're injured quite severely, but you are not. Your arm has not hit that extra lower stage where it has been reduced by its health again. It means that while it is wounded, you are not maimed. You are still within the capacity of standard healing to make. We established earlier that the good Telok Green Thumb, the farmer and representative of Bantar the Plowman, had the capacity to, he got this amazing harvest, which means we're going to assume that he didn't have to spend all of his rune points to get enough food for the village, and he's going to have one left in reserve, so he's going to cast heal wound on you, the rune magic. Other people will be able to support you in the heart of your village around the sacred oak. They will heal up your arm, since you did not take that full amount of damage. It takes a while, and there will be a few consecutive rolls that get made by people. we'll play that out later. But as you're in the process of being healed, stuff's going to happen.
I think also, I mean, I love it. Whenever the opportunity for body horror presents itself, I'm going to take it. I think this is also because I'd turned it into like this fucked up claw thing, panther arm, and then taken the wound. I think as it reverts back into human, it looks way more mangled. Like it was kind of holding itself together, but now that it comes back into the human form, the cut's a lot nastier. And you can see like a bone that's kind of off at an angle where it hasn't really gone back the way it was exactly right. And it's just hanging limply behind me as I'll head over and check my weapon first, check that the things aren't moving, and then sit down, breathing pretty hard, and allow myself to be healed.
I love it. I can imagine very much, a bone poking through that as your hand shrinks and reforms, it like pierces itself along the.
Sick.
Yeah.
Exactly what you want to hear. After a while, your commands are going to get heard, and people will start to move everybody who is not sort of essential to the situation back into their homes. Logan particularly is listening to you and starts barking at the chief, Serpent Tongue. We need to get your hall open. We need to sort out what's happening. People rush around you, attempting to tend to you. There's many whispers of the Varmundi tribe. You can hear whispers around, and several in reverence. It will become clear very quickly that the armor, the war painting, the regalia that was being worn by the zombies that came here is linked to the Varmundi clan. So this is clearly, these are clearly ancestor corpses.
You
might be able to find out more about that briefly, but that information is obvious as the collection of you are taken away. You helped much more Telos and will arrive in the Serpent Tongue's hole in the hall, which is normally where you'd have sort of big meetings and celebrations. It's a mess. It hasn't been tended to properly. It's full of like badly stored stuff, but a table is cleared, and the council of the village as it stands, which is effectively Coral, the two of you, Logan and Telok, can frantically hold a discussion in hushed voices. Logan is very concerned about you, Telos, and continues to ask, will you be able to shoot again? We can't lose a warrior now, and if we have to invest all of our magic into protecting you, how can you go? Can you make a fist?
I'll go through all the exercises he does, but my mind is elsewhere. I'll say, have the bodies been moved? The creatures we slain?
Logan looks up towards Telok, who kind of gestures helplessly, says, I left them with a couple of people, told them to take them inside, move them at least, but we need to be careful. I'm not sure what the procedures are here, whether we burn the bodies, or is that disrespectful?
No, leave it. The big one. Make sure no one touches it directly. Have someone wrap it in a basket or something, or clothing, and bring it inside. Touch as little as possible. I need to inspect it. I need to get close to it.
Okay. He'll go out and he yells. You hear one of the local kids, probably Quayor, who's sort of hanging around, who can go and relay the message.
Do not make the 12-year-old handle the corpse.
Send her to bed. Delivering a message to the people who are going to. But good point. And everyone.
This is why we're in this problem. Stop sending the 12-year-old to do tasks. Let her sleep.
Let her sleep. Why isn't she in bed?
Serpent Tongue, for his part, is kind of mumbling. He's not really talking. I mean, whatever. The example I keep thinking of is it's very King Theoden of Rohan, while under the spell of Worm Tongue. Although there's no worm tonguing in the village, as far as you're aware.
Yeah,
he's just sort of. Yeah, I say that.
Yeah,
he's just
that we know of.
Muttering occasionally, like you did well. You was lucky that it wasn't, but it's over now, and kind of not really addressing the problem. Taylok, the farmer, is trying his best to sort of see the situation through, but he doesn't. It's pretty outside of his area of expertise. So he's saying things like, "I don't know what we do now. Do we have to seek out a sage or something like that? Are there procedures? What about the other clans? Have they found similar things? Do we know whose bodies they were exactly? They were from our clan, but what do you think? And look straight towards you, Aracha.
Aracha's like watching everything that's happened because for like the last 30 seconds, she didn't have to be an adult. Them doing whatever was like kind of gave her a moment of reprieve. I don't know. We can touch base with Ernada and see what she knows. She's the closest thing that I know to an active priestess at this point. And we're on at least good terms. Telos might be able to tell us where they came from or how they eluded his traps or his reconnaissance and got into the village in the first place. And she says that with just this steely irritation.
Hell yeah.
Maybe he can tell us how they got past his defenses. And outside of that, I don't know what we do next. We don't have enough information. We can't make decisions unless we have the information that we need. And as of right now, that's something we don't have. So we should stop. We should take a step back. And we need to collect the data that we need.
Serpent Tongue mutters, there are old stories, but nothing that relates to this. And he trails off into mumbling before the door will open, and wrapped in a litter, the body of the maul-wielding zombie will be moved forward. Pardon me?
Big boy.
The big boy.
Big boy, yeah, exactly. Will be placed upon the table in front of you. It looks so non-threatening now. It's just like a corpse that's been exhumed. And in fact, it's been damaged, not just from the fall at the end when the magic sort of stopped holding it together, but from the wounds that you inflicted upon it throughout battle. The maul has also been picked up. Once again, it's wrapped so people avoid touching it as much as possible. It's placed at the foot of the table. It's a mighty and fine weapon, covered with all kinds of ornate carvings and bronze. It's a beautiful piece. Coral looks across it, but most people don't look towards him. They look towards you at this stage. Tell us. You expressed interest in it. Logan will say, do you know these things? What do you want from it?
There are two most likely options. We already have an enemy, and recently we have taken something from them. Most likely it is them. Otherwise, these bodies came from much closer, but we may as well eliminate one first. I'm gonna go forward, and I'm gonna cast another room magic spell. I'm gonna cast Identify Scent, and I've been inside the barrows because that was where they hid their trinket during one of the challenges, and I've searched around there, and I'm seeing if I can remember the scent from there, and if I can smell it on these corpses. So it's a rune magic that's I think sort of, again, very animalistic. I'll hunch over and just begin to inhale along it, trying to sift through the smell of damp and forest. Also, if I can smell the river that they crossed to see if they came here, but any of that sort of thing. See if I can identify where they might come from.
Absolutely. Yes, that is fantastic. Please make a beast roll to cast the rune magic.
This one's air.
This one's
it's
air.
The one that's
okay.
actually, unless you can always just cast the one that's associated
Technically, well, the rune magic would have been awarded to you through your cult, and what you can do is you can cast it with any associated rune from your cult. That is how I believe it works.
Okay, I rolled under air because I had it, because might as well start ticking things, and I have succeeded.
Okay, fantastic. You bend down and you begin to sniff across it as you've described, and you can immediately smell the woods that you spend so much time in. You can smell the river. You can smell the wood of the bridge that it walked through. You can smell the dust of the streets of Oakton that it wandered through and around. You can smell the branches of the Tree of Vengeance that it stood under for some time, staring, watching, waiting. You can smell the hills and the rolling fields that it passed when it crossed into your lands. You can smell the valley farmlands that you wandered through that surround Greenstone Village. You can smell the streets. You can smell the signs of battle. You can smell smoke. You can smell fire. And then definitively, absolutely, you can smell the Barrow Mound at the edge of Greenstone Village, and from within you can smell the unrelenting and overpowering scent of death and anger festering below the ground for God knows how long. It definitely came from there.
God, I wanted you to be wrong about that so badly.
But now we know. They've sent something against us.
Now, to
Doubtless
be clear,
they look for the piece that we've taken, and they want it back.
Now, to be clear, with that scent, what you also got is you got it emerging, and you got it fighting. It did battle in Greenstone Village, and there was smoke, and there was fire, and there was death, and there was blood.
That's so much better. I was so stressed.
It fought in Greenstone before it left,
Nuts.
before it came towards you. So yeah, that is the information that you get at this stage. Now that said, what you probably get as well, because you're casting Identify Scent, as you step back, you are going to get a secondary whiff. Now that it's full in your nostrils, that smell of the barrow mounds. And as you step back for a second, it's not clear, but you get a scent of that barrow mound again from somewhere else within the village. There is something else that reeks of that place, that particular crypt, not just of death, but of the Orleving tribes, the Orleving clan's barrow mounds. Something that should be there is here, and it is inside your village.
Can I follow it?
Let's check the exact effects of
it gives me like a percentage of. So identify scent is perfectly identify the nature of any scent encountered under the spell's influence. So I've already gotten a lot more than I probably should have, or could have. If the scent of a substance, blah blah, has never been encountered, then I will know that it is something I've been against. So I can identify things I've encountered. Then I also I gain a scent skill at 25 plus perception. So like I do have a skill, I could use that.
I think that makes entire sense. Like a hound, you can smell that it is somewhere out there in the village. If you would like to, you have this confirmed. Since I clarified after you said, oh, it was them, oh, it was from Greenstone Village, do you still say that? Do you still implicate the Orleving tribe? Okay, fantastic. Makes sense. It definitely came from there. And you can make a scent. You can make a scent skill check if you would like to stand and leave and attempt to track this down.
Yeah, so it's I'm rolling under 35, and I will be, as I'm doing, I'm saying there's something here from the village as well. It was not just these creatures, there may be another one. Twang. Haha. Fumble. I rolled 99, and I have 35.
Oh no. Devastating. All right.
Oh no.
Oh
devastating.
No. I definitely don't want to fumble. So you stand out and you go and you start to search through the area as best you can. You're like literally wandering up and down the streets trying to follow this scent, but it's full in your nostrils. Kind of all there is this sense of kind of death and despair basically, and you're hunting a memory that is very very distant. Meanwhile, inside, people watch. He's explained where he's going. People watch Telos go, and the eyes in the room will flick back towards you, Iracha. Lurgan eventually will speak first, and he says, "Well, it falls to you and your brother again, Iracha. The two of you know the Orleving. You've been there more recently than us, at least." We only passed through the village on trading runs to the other clans from the Milani. Do we send a party? Is this? You could see he wants to send, like, we should send a raiding party, but he's not doing that. He's aligned himself with you more clearly now, and he understands the kind of leader that you are. So you get that suggestion from him, but he doesn't say it outright.
Which is hysterical. That was his suggestion the first time too. We raid. But yeah, he's consistent. Bridget just needs a point of clarification right now. This is Bridget, not Ray, to understands is that these creatures came out of the crypts from Greenstone, but it sounds like they attacked the Greenstone villages as well and then came to us. That's what Bridget understands.
Yeah, yes.
What does Iratia understand though, based on what Telos said? I just want to make sure.
Yep, so Telos do not give that nuance clearly. Now, of course, I mean, there is still a lot of assumptions at work here. Like for the Orleving tribe to have sent undead at you, that would have been like a pretty major deal. That would have immediately been war between your tribes. There's kind of an assumption of like, surely not, but also it's from Greenstone.
Yet here they are.
yet here they are, and you know that they have done this kind of unwarranted escalation before when they stole the relic.
Yeah. But that was before she had a boyfriend and also a surrogate mom over there too. Things got real complicated real fast. What she's probably going to do, just pure frustration, just both fists slamming into the table, that's going to make that corpse jump. She's just going to snarl, "Enough! I don't know." And she'll pause, and she's just going to step back, and she's going to say, "Stay here." And then she's going to go follow the bloodhound to see where he went. One, because she doesn't want to be in that conversation right now. Two, because also, where did the bloodhound go?
You slam down your hands, you yell enough, "I don't know." There's silence. Eventually you will get up to leave. But just before you do, a final soft-voiced answers, and this is from Coral Serpentongue, the chieftain, actually saying something useful. And he will say...
actually saying
something useful. He says, Jorklin Broketeeth. Jorklin Broketeeth. He's the lawkeeper for Lancor Me. He knows things. He'll know who it is. He'll know why it's there. He wanders in the dark season. I can tell you where to find him. And he leaves that hanging.
What was the bloke's name?
Jorklin, Jorklin, Broken Teeth.
Jorklin Broken Teeth. Okay.
And he's apparently a lawkeeper for Lancor Me, which your characters would know is a god of knowledge. It's a big and important role, kind of like a sage, effectively. This is the equivalent of like, all right, we got to go and find the wizard and say, why is this happening? Cool. You head outside and you go back to try and find the bloodhound, as you put it. Telos, the scent is confused. These things wandered around the village for a long time, and you're smelling back quite far at this stage. It's muddied with all of these kind of different memories, and to your immense horror as well, you can smell the scent now emanating from your arm where the injury was. You don't know if it's going to stick with you forever, and there will always be like the taint of the wound granted to you by the dead that lingers right there. But I think that for here, what I think the classic fumble would be that it's all a bit too much for Telos, and some kind of panic or some kind of emotional distress sits in. And I leave you to determine what exactly that would be, what kind of shape it would take for him. I'm interested to hear. Could you give us a little scene? What would an outsider see Telos do?
Yeah, I think I try to follow it for a while, and then I start getting overwhelmed by the senses, and so I sort of have to, I end up probably sitting where I left the bow, having picked it up and having like sitting with my head in my hands and my thumbs plugging my nostrils, and also probably snaked around to close my ears as well, and just kind of withdraw from the world as much as I can, just until I can get things back under control.
It's all a bit much, and you try to shut down your senses as best you can, ignoring the rest of the world and ignoring the eyes of any of the other villagers that might see you. Eventually, it will be your sister who finds you, and as you round one of the steps towards the town square near the Oak of Vengeance, you will see your brother, kind of sunken shape at this point, curled up by one of the steps, kind of plugging his ears and his nose. What would you like to do?
Okay. She's going to approach. We're going to stick with the mercurial. High, we're going to go comfort, and then low, we're going to double down on the fact that she thinks this is his fault.
Yes.
That's a 38.
Yes.
So she's going to wind up standing just kind of like in front of him, towering over him. And mind you, she's still in a saturated, soaking wet nightgown with like a zombie goo and fluid over her. And she's just going to stare at him. She's going to stare at him very just blankly until the fingers come out of the ears and out of the nose. And when he does finally look up, she's going to say, "When we lost that piece, that was my fault. This one is on you." And then she's going to walk away.
Oh, brutal. Awful. Oh my god. I love it.
That's
I love
a
it so
terrible
much.
timing too. God, Bridget feels bad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
David doesn't.
Yeah.
Tell us anything you want to add from your character perspective here. This is the kind of thing that might, build a passion or something from you.
No, because it is harsh. It definitely like stings. But Telos agrees. And I think he was kind of hoping. I think he probably had his head in his hands for a little bit longer, and possibly hoping that the sister would deliver words of comfort. And when doesn't hear them, probably does like harden a little bit further, but does agree and intends to make this right. He'll push himself up and follow after her back towards the hall or wherever we're going next to make this right.
Fantastic. Well, where are you going next? That's the big question. We are approaching the end of our time for this scenario, but there's a little bit of information that I want to see if the collection of you will find out. I would like you, if it's all right, Telos, to make a customs local check now that you have a proper chance to explore and sort of like go over the body in detail, read the symbols that are left on the hammer. You might be able to find some additional information about that. You're also going to get in contact with Lurgan and a couple of other sort of details there.
I'm also fairly determined to just head out towards the other village as soon as possible and set this to rights. Sure,
that's fantastic. There is some sort of incidental knowledge that with any kind of cursory look you might come across. Yep. So I still want you to make that check, but we're not going to. Yeah,
I have succeeded.
Nice.
Okay, fantastic. As you go through, you are going to get a bit of background information, and that is that this body, this corpse, harks from an era several generations ago when the Varmandi clan were living in the site of Greenstone Village. So this person would have been buried there while they were around, and specifically would have been buried during the time of the Great War between the Varmandi clan and the Orlevin clan. This person likely died in battle against the Orlevin, possibly why they came right back to the Oak of Vengeance when they returned. I would also like you, Iracha, to make for me one final charm check, and I'm going to keep this a little vague at this stage. But I just want you to make it for me as a sort of...
Got it?
Woo, we got an 8.
An 8, fantastic. Is that a special?
I wish it were. Her charm is only a 35. Actually, I think it might be a 25. It's a 25.
Okay, no, you're still good though. It is enough for you in the hours to come before you take a decision to leave. You are going to get a visit from poor little Quail, and this is as when you step outside from the hall one time when there's going to be a consistent flurry of activity as everybody plans what action is going to take, talks logistics, and she will step forward. She's looking down and is really visibly upset. And then, as if it's causing her great pain to do so, eventually she will step forward and she will say, one time when Logan and I went through Greenstone on one of the trading runs to a Milani clan, we stopped and I went in to the barrow and I took something. I took something from the side of the walls that was from where our clan's bodies were, and she pulls out from a satchel a small wrapped bundle and will hand it towards you or offer it towards you, which you may or may not take. Clearly, the efforts that you have made with her have been enough to break through, and she is telling you the truth here. So that's heartwarming for Bridget, but I don't know how.
I still want to kill her. Damn it. Okay. That's probably in character, whatever, like, don't kill her, don't snatch her up, don't grab her, don't chastise her. You worked so hard the last 3 months, just. So she will, you know what? Let's see what she does. She's gonna snatch it out of her hand fairly aggressively. I mean, like, she's snatching out her hand with the right hand, and with the left hand, she's gonna hook her around the waist and bring her in for a hug. And then while the right hand, she's like looking over, she's unfolding this pack to see what the hell this child took.
It is essentially a small urn, sealed with wax. would have been one of the symbols, and Tellus saw these briefly upon entering, the many old gifts that were placed along the side. We'll recall to you that in the sort of epilogue, which your characters didn't see, but of the last chapter, you saw a great breaking of stone along the lines of the blindfolded statued figure.
Yeah. Thank you, Quail. You did right by telling me.
In the hours to come, you'll be presented with a collection of options. Serpent Tongue, for what effort he has, will recommend that the collection of you go to seek out Broken Tooth. He is a sage. He can give you information that you need. Logan says that information is all well and good, but you should just get on the damn road. Whatever this problem is, it relates to where it relates to where the Barrow Mound emerged, where Greenstone Village is. And bottom line, when there's zombies like this, quite often a very simple solution is to just go through into the bottom, thumping everything on the way until you find the source of it all and smash it.
It's just that easy.
Get far too caught up in trying to find the peaceful way to resolve this, and people might die if you hesitate. With your customs local check, you get the information that I told you, Telos, but you don't have anything additional. You do not know, for example, what Broken Tooth is going to say to you, so you aren't able to preempt that direction. I'm interested to hear a loose direction from the two of you, what you aim to do, and from what you've both said, I guess that it's going to Greenstone Village, not going to seek out Broken Tooth.
Yeah, so normally Telos would be all for gathering as much information and making the right decision patiently, but given he is taking personal responsibility for this mistake and the risk that, he was in the barrows, they're quite large, there was innumerable dead down there. This isn't, if we spend the time chasing after some priest wandering in this, in the forest, that could take too long and the village could be attacked again, so I am proposing heading straight to Greenstone and trying to resolve this as swiftly as possible. Also, if they've been attacked, it might be worth checking out. Maybe they're deceased.
Iratia, do you feel the same?
No, Iratia 100% wants to go talk to Jerklin first. But again, surrogate mom and potential boyfriend may be dead, so we need to go reconcile that first. So she agrees with going to Greenstone, but just not for the same reasons.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Broken Tooth will be for another day, and before morning even comes, the two of you will prepare, you're ready to go, and we will pick up next session as you head towards Greenstone Village, ready to see what the damage is, and try and resolve this new threat from the Barrows once and for all. Thanks so much for playing. That was our little session there.
Jesus.
Well done. That hit almost killed you right in the middle there, Telos. So
fingers crossed.
Oh God, Telos.
Dodged by one. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. We will be back next week with another episode of A New Hero, where we will go through and we will see what happens here. And remember, you can join the Stream of Chaos Discord if you want to talk more about all of this RuneQuest content. You can also join us on the Two-Headed Serpent, where my a big old Hubert Smith will be getting horrible things thrown at him by Dave. That
in revenge for you trying to take my arm in this session. It's a circle.
Absolutely.
It's a cycle.
Specifically. It's just a circular kind of bullying thing that we do. I'll get the two of you to say goodbye. Where can people find you online? Bridget, you want to start?
Yeah, again, my name is Bridget Jeffries. If you're looking to create and publish your own playable content on the Miskatonic Repository, Johnstown Compendium, or the, God bless me, I'm tired and I can't remember the name. Is it Adventures League? No. Yeah, the 7th Sea community content.
Oh God, that's embarrassing.
I'm tired.
Oh well.
Yeah,
The
if you're looking
RuneQuest
to publish
Community
any of those
Publishing
three
Portal.
systems, bam, there we go. Feel free to hit me up at Bridget, that's Bridget you walk across with 2 T's at chaosium.com.
Brilliant. And Dave, can you please do the same?
Yeah. Thanks, Jim. And if you want to catch Two-Headed Serpent, we will be live this coming Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific, so you can hop on down and see some Pulp Cthulhu goodness. Hope to see you there.
Absolutely. Remember, pick up the RuneQuest starter set from chaosium.com or your friendly local game store. You can watch the VOD on YouTube, and thanks for watching.
See you soon.